Hi and welcome to A Life in Chapters. I'm Alison Wood and this is episode 6, Journaling to Reconnect with What Lights You Up. So this isn't a fancy podcast, no intro music, no editing, just me speaking directly into my mic from wherever I happen to be, sharing thoughts and stories about books, journaling, creative work, and the slower rhythms of a meaningful life. And if that sounds like your kind of space, I'm so glad you're here. Now, today I want to guide you through a gentle journaling session, one that's designed to help you reconnect with something you might have drifted away from lately, the things that light you up. Now, if you're feeling a little flat or uninspired, or like you've lost sight of what used to make you feel alive, I want to say right at the start, that is okay. It's incredibly common, especially in seasons that feel heavy, busy, or simply repetitive, to lose that sense of spark. You might still be doing everything you're supposed to be doing, getting through the days, showing up, taking care of things, but underneath it all, something feels muted, like a part of you has dimmed a little, and you don't quite know how to switch it back on. This journaling session is for that version of you. It's not about trying to fix anything or force yourself into a better mood. It's just about making a little space, a pause, a chance to listen inwardly and see if anything stirs. Now, you don't need a special notebook for this. You don't need to write pages and pages. You can pause this episode and journal as you go, or if you're out on a walk, just listen and let the prompts soak in. And then you can always come back to them later, or they may just spark some things in your mind anyway. There is no wrong way to do this or right way to do this. Okay, let's begin. So the first prompt is, what used to light me up that I've let slip away? So take a moment to think about something that once brought you joy or energy, but somehow slipped out of your life. Now, it might have been a hobby or a small ritual, a place you used to go, a creative outlet, a relationship even, or maybe just a way of thinking, a perspective that felt hopeful or open or excited. It doesn't matter how long ago it was, and it doesn't matter why you let it go. Maybe you didn't have time anymore. Maybe something happened and it didn't feel right. Maybe it slowly faded without you even noticing. Now try not to judge what comes up, just notice and name it. Sometimes we stop doing things we love for good reasons. We're tired, we're overwhelmed, we're in survival mode. Or we tell ourselves it wasn't productive, or we weren't very good at it, or it wasn't for someone our age, or stage, or role in life. But here's the thing, joy doesn't need to justify itself. Something can light you up just because. And even if it's not something you want to dive back into fully, remembering it might open a little door. So, what lit you up once? What did you get lost in? What made you feel more like you? Just jot down whatever bubbles up, even one sentence is enough. Now, gently ask yourself, what might it feel like to reconnect with even a tiny part of that? Not in a big, all-consuming way, but just as a whisper, a reminder. Could you revisit it for 5 minutes this week? Or read about it? Watch someone else doing it? Even that small contact can stir something inside. So here's the prompt again. And of course, if you're doing it live as I speak, then feel free to pause and then come back. So the first prompt was, what used to light me up that I've let slip away? Okay, so now let's move on to prompt 2. When do I feel most like myself? When do I feel most like myself? Now, this one's deceptively simple, but also powerful. When do you feel most like you? It might be something recent, or it might go back years, and it doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's a walk where your mind feels clear, a morning alone with a book, cooking without rushing, digging your hands into soil, creating something with your hands, listening to music that you loved as a teenager, or laughing with someone who just gets you. Try to bring one of those moments to mind now. Feel into it. What was happening? Where were you? How did your body feel? What made you feel grounded or open or at ease? Those are clues. I know for me, I often feel most like myself when I'm sitting with a notebook and letting my thoughts spill out without a filter. Or when I'm walking by the sea and everything in my mind starts to untangle. Or when I'm deep into a novel and I forget where I am. Sometimes I feel most like myself when I'm sharing quietly, like this. Now, your moments will be different. They might be quiet, they might involve other people, or not. There's no right answer. But once you've found a moment, ask yourself, what about it made me feel like me? Was it the pace, the permission, the freedom, the focus? Whatever it was, see if you can find a thread, because those are the parts of yourself that are always trying to come home to you. So let's just go through that prompt again. Prompt 2, when do I feel most like myself? Now let's move on to prompt 3. What would I do tomorrow if no one was watching? I like this one. Now, this is one of my favourite prompts, especially when I'm stuck in what I should be doing or how I should be showing up. There are so many shoulds, aren't there, in life? Because here's the truth, sometimes the things that light us up don't make sense to anyone else. They're not strategic, they're not glamorous, they're not efficient, they don't earn us money or admiration or praise, but they matter. And they're often the exact things we quietly crave. So ask yourself now, gently, honestly, if no one was watching, if no one cared what you did or how it looked or how you looked or whether it was worthy, how would you spend your day? Would you go exploring? Would you write poems no one else reads? Would you bake elaborate cakes or scribble stories or paint walls or go dancing or just sleep in and do nothing? Try not to censor yourself. Sometimes this prompt brings up unexpected answers, and sometimes it's heartbreakingly clear how far we've drifted from what we want. But again, this isn't about pressure or big decisions. It's just awareness. Let yourself see the gap, but kindly. And ask yourself, is there anything in that daydream that I could fold back into my real life? Even for 10 minutes. Because often it's not about changing everything. It's about making enough space for a flicker of joy and letting it grow. So just one more time, that final prompt. What would I do tomorrow if no one was watching? Now, take a breath. You've just spent a little time listening inward, not to your to-do list, not to your obligations, not to what everyone else expects of you, but to you, the real you, the curious you. Maybe what came up was crystal clear. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a whisper, a memory, a feeling. And maybe over the next few days, more will come up. You will get back in touch with more of that feeling. Or maybe you won't. Either way, you've just made contact with something true. And that's what journaling is really about, not solving things, not forcing insight, just making space. I've had many seasons where I felt disconnected from myself, where I looked fine on the outside, but felt distant on the inside. And in those seasons, journaling wasn't a fix, but it was a thread, something to hold on to, something to follow slowly, gently back to myself. Not all at once, definitely not all at once, but maybe one sentence at a time. Because the things that light us up, they're often quiet. They don't shout, they wait. And sometimes all we need to do is to sit still long enough to remember where they are. So, as we close this episode, I want to leave you with one last prompt. What's one small thing, I can do this week to bring a little light back in? What's one small thing I can do this week to bring a little light back in? Now let it be small. Let it be soft. Let it be enough. It's not a quest. It's just something that is easy to do. That's a tiny thing that brings a little joy. It might be a 5-minute journaling moment before bed, a morning playlist that shifts your mood, a coffee you actually sit down to enjoy, bonus points if it's maybe outdoors in a little bit of sunshine, a slow walk with no destination, a visit to a place you love, a text to a friend, a sticky note on your mirror with something kind, saying no to something that drains you, picking up an old hobby just for fun. It doesn't have to be life-changing. It just needs to be yours. And when you do it, notice how it feels, not as a test, just as a signal. You're still in there and your light is never gone, even if it dims. Now, if you'd like to go deeper with the ideas from today, whether that's through journaling, book recommendations, or creative business tools, you'll find the show notes and extras at alifeinchapters.com. I've added today's journaling prompts there too, so you can come back to them whenever you're ready to write. Now, before I go, I just wanted to share something I'm really excited about. I've just opened the doors to the A Life in Chapters book club over on Patreon. Now, each month we'll read one carefully chosen book together, sometimes reflective non-fiction, sometimes a beautifully written novel. And in future, members will be able to vote on what we read next. Now, our very first pick for August is Enchantment by Catherine May. A quiet, thoughtful book about rediscovering wonder in everyday life. And I'll be sharing prompts and reflections throughout the month inside the book club so that we can all discuss it together. Isn't that the most exciting part? Now, this book club is open to both the Clarity Club and Clarity Circle tiers, and you can take a look or join us now at alifeinchapters.com/Patreon. I'd love to read with you. And I'll see you next time.